Hey, Jamie, we got the media here. We'll go first to Steve Conroy.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Good, thanks. Curtis Hall obviously brings a lot of size to the table. What in particular does he need to work on to establish himself for us as a pro player and then maybe take a jump?
Well, I think for Curtis, he got his feet wet a little bit last year. Unfortunately, getting injured right away set it back a little bit from the plan we had in place there. But I think we saw what type of player we're going to want towards the end. His last game of last season was his best by far as a pro. He did end up scoring in that game as well, but I think just his approach was better. He's going to need to be a direct player. He's going to need to continue to work on his mobility, his side-to-side movement. In a straight line, his downhill speed is very good, but his mobility will need to continue to improve. And learning to be a pro, how to manage pucks on the wall or in the middle. He has some habits that will continue to need to be worked on. And I think there's a lot of positives to his game. And I think he ended up playing 8 games last year. It's hard to get a real evaluation as calling that a first year pro. So I think we look at this year as that, and we go from there.
Thank you.
Kevin Dupont.
Jamie, I've got a couple of questions. One generic about the invitees, but I'll do a specific one first. In Greenway's instance, has he been to this camp before? And if not, what led him to be here? Why is he here?
Well, no, he was a Toronto draft pick, so he's never been here. Why is he here? Well, we have his rights. We've signed him to an American League contract. He's gonna. We see an athletic kid that has some molding to do as a player. There's some raw skill to his game, his length, his skating ability. He has some work to do. We're finding out in his overall conditioning and whatnot, but we see some raw skill that can be molded into a player. We have some time with him. I think we like the athletic ability, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, so there's going to be, obviously, if I gave you all 12 names, which I'm not going to do, all 12 names of the invites.
Yep.
There are disparate reasons for why they're here or what led them here.
Yep.
I'm wondering, do you ever have an instance where you're the guy who calls a kid, maybe doesn't have an agent, and you say, hey, would you like to come to camp? And is the kid thrilled, or am I being too simplistic about that?
No, I think there are definite instances of that. There are instances, like you said, where you're dealing with an advisor with the NCAA guys, and then there are times where you are in direct contact with them, either directly or through one of their college coaches or a junior coach. And you get a varying degree of responses. Right, depends on how much love the kid's been shown in the past, to be honest with you. And I think it is fun for those kids that have been a little bit under the radar, and the late developers that they all talk about that find their way here, and they show well. I think I'll give you a name for one that's shown well so far for us is that Travis Mitchell. A late developing kid, wasn't even able to play hockey last year at Cornell. Put on a lot of strength during that 18 months off, and looks good out there right now. So it's you get a wide range of that, and that's part of the fun sometimes.
So, lack of a better expression here, was he sort of just a cold call in terms of you connecting with him, or?
No, our college free agent guys in Brett Harkins and Scott Fitzgerald are in contact with a lot of these guys. It's not a one-off scene that you're usually doing this. We have a bit of a book on all these guys, and there's usually a progression, and there's usually a tool or something in their game that that fits you and Hark, the C that translates to be a pro hockey player. And, we like to kind of, as we say, bring them in here and scratch into the surface a little bit, see what make them tick, get to know them a little bit. Sometimes in the college free agencies thing, it's a bit of a recruiting thing at the end of the day. I think opportunity is the biggest motivating factor for them, but I think a comfort level also helps at times. And if we get them in here and there's a comfort level with us and with them and then them for us, I think it does help.
I know I'm hogging the microphone. Last one. What is it you've liked about Mitchell?
The way he moves for a big guy. I mean, he's 6'4" and change. He's moving well. I mean, obviously we haven't done any hockey game type things here, and to be honest, we were not really going to play a game in the summer here in August. One with the numbers we have, and two, we're just not a huge believer that it's the best time to put those guys at risk in a situation like that. But no, just in the improvement that he's done, the added strength, the growth he's had, it seems to be on an upward trend.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Pluto.
Jamie, a question about Mason's year in Green Bay. He was older than a good number of his teammates and opponents, and maybe that's great for some kids and maybe not as productive for others. How do you think being 20 influenced the year that Mason had?
Well, he was right in the middle for that league, really, in age-wise. I know he's an 01, but that league had plenty of 01s and 2000s in it. I think for the way the season rolled out, as far as the USHL basically playing, if I believe right, maybe the most games of any league in the world. It was a great opportunity for him. He got to play a lot of hockey. He got to play in big situations, big minutes, and really blossomed his offensive numbers. He had a good year the year before, and he had a really good year this year. So, I think it was really good for him. He's going to take the next step now to Ohio State, and he's been on campus and putting in the work. And I think it's been a good path for him. Could have he gone into school? Sure, that was a possibility. But I think the path he took is just fine for him.